Hey everybody, Coach Amber here. Welcome to day 7 of your Coach Basics training. Today we are going to talk about objections. So I just real quick wanted to review with you how I handle objections, some of the main objections that I get, and just some ideas on some ways to further build a relationship with people by asking them questions in regards to the objection that they give you. So a lot of times people give you an objection because they're not 100% sold on the value that you're portraying, or you just haven't gotten to the depth of their need or their want or their why. So it's very important that if you haven't formed with somebody enough that you go back and you ask them more questions to make sure you fully understand why they really are creating objections for you. Before we talk about objections, I want to talk to you about two different words, the word but and the word and. These two words can sound very differently, especially in written communication. And when you're dealing with an objection, it's extremely important that you don't come off defensive. So when you use the word but, a lot of times it's going to sound like you are being defensive. So something like, I completely understand your objection about price, but I really think this is a great product for you, blah, blah, blah. Versus, I really understand your objection about price, and I felt the same way. I had some of the same concerns, blah, blah, blah. So when you use but, it really sounds defensive versus and, you're really trying to connect with them more and show them that you care. So just think about that when you're responding. If you tend to use but a lot, which I do, that you maybe try to replace those buts with and or some other sort of non-defensive word. So let's first talk about the price objection. So when handling objections, I really like to just respond with a question back to them so I can better understand why they're actually objecting to price. So here's a few different examples of some questions that you could use when responding to the price objection. Can you tell me a little bit about why price concerns you? Or do you currently pay for a gym membership? Typically, what would you expect to pay for a gym membership, a health and nutrition service, or a group or community meeting? Then I just like to talk a little bit more about why I was concerned about the price or your personal experience with overcoming a price objection. I'm sorry, I'm getting over a cold. The next objection I get a lot is time. So some of the ways I like to respond with the time objection would be, can you tell me a little bit more about your day, about your current routine, and maybe I can help you find that 30 minutes a day where you could fit in this workout. I also like that it's really important to talk about your own personal experiences, and we're all busy. And the one thing we all have in common is time. It's just how we spend our time and how we waste our time is really the difference between me and you and everybody else. So for me, when I talk about time, I like to talk about how I'm a busy mom, I have a child, I work full time, and I have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning in order to get my work done for Beachbody and my workout in. Because if I save it for night, my day goes to crap. Another objection I get a lot is I don't like to drink my food, meaning it's a Shakeology objection. So one of the things I say is, neither do I. I like to agree with people when they're objecting because normally we agree with them. We had the same concerns, we had the same fears when we started. But then I think it's really important just to ask them more about, tell me about your current nutrition. Tell me about when you eat snacks. Do you get sugar cravings in the afternoon? Tell me about what you eat for breakfast. Do you eat a lot of convenience foods? Do you eat out a lot? Just try to understand maybe where they could replace their meal with Shakeology and actually make it fit very well into their life and enhance their overall nutritional health. I like to once again use an example about myself and how I use Shakeology and how it's replaced a meal and why it's been so much more convenient and healthier for me and how much better I feel since I've been drinking Shakeology. And then the last objection, which I don't really think it's a tough one to overcome, but it's just that I could never objection. So I could never do what you do. I could never do 100 burpees. Well, I can't do 100 burpees either, but I could never do push-ups. I don't know how you get up in the morning and do these workouts. So for me, that's just a really easy way to overcome that is, when I started, I couldn't do that either. It's all about progress. We're not striving for perfection. And it's just really important to be asking them questions about, tell me about your current fitness level. Tell me about what you love to do and what you really dislike doing in terms of fitness activities. Do you prefer cardio? Do you prefer weightlifting? Just try to make sure you understand what type of fitness activity they prefer. So then when you're recommending a program, you can pair them with the right program. So I know there's a lot of objections out there. I'm sure I haven't covered all of them, but I just wanted to give you guys a few ideas on how to respond to some of the major objections we get, and the importance of making sure when you're responding to objections, you're not being defensive, you're coming across caring, understanding, and that you're agreeing with your potential customer. You never want somebody to be turned off because they feel like you're pushing something on them. It takes time. You might reach out to somebody and it might take you 3 to 6 months to ever sell them on a challenge pack. It's all about forming that relationship, overcoming these objections, and making sure that they feel comfortable in this purchase. The more comfortable they feel and the more excited they are about purchasing a challenge pack or whatever it is you're trying to work with them on, they're going to be more loyal to you. They're probably going to be a much better coach prospect someday. You just got to think about all the things that you're lying down here when you're working with somebody. So I hope this helped you overcome some of these objections. Please comment below with the daily call to action, and also any questions or comments that you have about objections, and I would be happy to help you answer them. Thanks.